Enjoy all episodes of the RCWR Show on iTunes, Stitcher, TuneIn Radio, Spreaker, and iHeartRadio.
Do you love the RCWR Show with Lee Sanders? Then support the show that's currently ranked in the top 10 shows on Spreaker.com in the wrestling category, on Patreon.com, and get exclusive access to new original content, including our 30 with Lee series, bonus and vintage RCWR episodes, exclusive guest interviews, prize giveaways, online community chat, live show call-in features, and so much more. Support the RCWR Show on Patreon.com/RCWR Show. Once again, that's Patreon.com/RCWR Show. The RCWR Show with Lee Sanders, entertaining you since 2011.
Warning, the RCWR Show with Lee Sanders is intended for a mature audience only. The following is an Infinity One Productions presentation, keeping it honest, insightful, and interactive. Covering the latest in wrestling and beyond since 2011. You're listening to the RCWR Show. Now, your host, live from the nation's capital in Washington, D.C., Lee Sanders.
Ah, yeah. Yeah. Yeah, I like that. All right, what is going on? A little bit rusty here. That's what happens when you haven't done a damn show live in a good minute. What's going on, man? It's the one and only Lee Sanders. You're checking out an all-new The RCWR Show coming at you for this Tuesday night of September 26, 2017. How the hell y'all been? Yes, your man right here. Very well rested. Very, very well rested, let me tell you. I'm like working day and night. I'm telling you, man, I'm killing it right now, man. I know, right? Tuesday night, we just happen to be live. Like some of you are probably going, Lee, what the hell? Like you just happen to be awake or something? Yes. I mean, I had the most craziest fucking day, let me tell you, because like I went into work over my overnight gig, Monday night going into Tuesday, and we had like this silly ass fucking training seminar that we had to do. It was like supposedly mandatory. Everybody had to attend this, and I'm going, hey man, like freaking, I gotta go to my other job, like I just got this promotion, and I'm kinda in training for it right now, and like, the timing of this sucks, like, do I have to be sticking around for this? Because it was supposed to be like a 3.5 hour training session or some jazz like that. And like I get the whole spiel about it was mandatory. I'm like, okay, all right, whatever. So like I go to this thing. Basically, I had to stay there extra couple of hours. It wasn't as bad as I thought. I basically was there for about felt like 90 minutes. I was probably there. But I wish I had that 90 minutes back, because I'm kicking back and I'm just looking at all of this stupid shit that's going on. I didn't learn a goddamn thing, let me tell you. Basically, long story short, we had like these police officers that had showed up, and they basically were gonna take us through some type of a simulation, a shooter simulation, you know, like what to do in case a shooter decides they want to open fire from the food court or a couple of other spots, some shit like that. And I'm thinking, oh, well, this is probably going to be really beneficial. This is probably going to be a situation where, like, we as security, we're really going to be working hand in hand with law enforcement on this exercise. We're going to be briefed not only by police, but we're also going to be commanded by our respective superiors. And okay, this is what you need to do when this comes about. This is how you tackle this. This is how you execute that. No, we're just all just standing there, and we're watching the police officers run around chasing each other with plastic guns and all that stupid shit. it was a waste of fucking time. And it wasn't like we were able to walk right along with them. No, we pretty much stood right alongside management as the police officers were running around basically playing cops and robbers. That's literally what we did. We watched them play cops and robbers. And I asked a couple of my colleagues, I said, did you all learn anything from this, honestly? And a lot of them were like, no. And we all were saying the same damn thing, which was basically we could have like learned 3 times more just by looking up something on fucking YouTube. It was just the biggest waste of fucking time. I didn't like it. I did not like it. Now, some people may say, yeah, but Lee, at least you were able to make an extra couple of dollars an hour. It doesn't beat how much money I get paid at my day job, quite honestly, because my day job is actually paying me more than what I'm making at night. So truth be told, and for those couple of hours that I was there, I kind of wish I had. So did that, went to the other job. Now, I actually had managed to get off the day job a couple of hours early, so I was able to come on home, catch up on a little bit of rest, and I woke up afterwards feeling a little bit refreshed, a little bit groggy, but I was like, all right, I got plenty of time to sleep. Let me go on ahead. Hey, for those of you that had took part in a contest that we did earlier this year, our WrestleMania contest, y'all have been very patient because the finances way back then and over the course of a couple of months, it was really, really rough. Was not able to ship out anything. And I had kept letting you all know, hey, this is what's going on. And a lot of you guys were really fucking cool. There were some of you all that was like, Lee, hey, man, if it helps, I'll pay for the shipping, man. Just whatever you need help with. And I appreciate all of those kind gestures. But I had told you all that the month of September, I was going to be shipping items off to people. And earlier today, I did, in fact, ship off items to those of you that had won. So I try to give priority to those that are our Patreon members, those that have been like our Patreon members, not just necessarily since day one, but just they've been a Patreon member, period, on an ongoing basis. I tried to show them love of the highest priority. So some of you Patreon members, some of your stuff was already put in the mail. You should be getting it within the next 2 to 3 days. Now, I didn't ship off everything because as I had figured it out, it was definitely going to be a little bit pricey. And it's a little bit pricey because there's a couple of people that, like, for example, one person lives in the UK that had won a prize. We got another person that lives, what's the other one? In Ireland. So those 9 times out of 10 are going to be a bit pricey. And since they're going to be a bit pricey, it's kind of like, that's not really too good. So I'm actually going to be doing the overseas stuff in a couple of weeks, since that's going to be a bit pricier. But for the 4 people that I had shipped off items to, it really wasn't that bad. Honestly, it was a case where, hey, let me see something here. Normally, I can hear myself pretty well. Oh, that was way too loud. Let me try that. Let's try that and turn that down just a little bit. I can normally hear myself pretty good. I don't know if maybe I'm listening to metal music a little bit too much because I can't quite monitor myself. There we go. Now I can hear myself. Okay. That's what happens when you're not live consecutively for weeks. You're like relearning this shit all over again, guys. You guys got to work with me here. See, when you guys are getting the show on the downloads, on demand, it's like nice and smooth. When we're doing this shit live, I'm like learning shit all over again. But no, like seriously, let me get back on point. So yeah, there was like 4 prizes I had shipped off today. A couple of those I saw were for Patreon members, and then there were non-Patreon members. So those of you, I did reach out to you all, sent you all emails. And then there's just others that's just going to be surprised. So I kind of like surprising people. So the goal right now is, now that I've got that done, there is about, and I didn't realize this, I didn't realize how many people had wanted AJ Lee's book. And I'm like, oh my God, did I give away more copies than what I have? Because like, I could have sworn I had got like about 4 copies total, but I was giving away 3, if I'm not mistaken. So I'm like going, do I have enough copies to give away? So yeah, what I did today when I was shipping stuff off, that ended up costing me $30. And was it kind of pricey? Yeah, for $30. I mean, now just think for a second. If it was $30 just to ship off 4 items, all mind you, to people that live in the US, just imagine how much it would have been if I would have added the rest on of the folks that lived in the US. 9 times out of 10, that probably would have taken me up to about 60, maybe $70. And then if I would have added in the people that live in the UK, that live in Ireland, that probably, like altogether, it probably would have taken me up to about at least somewhere between $100 to $115. And I just wasn't trying to shell all that out in one sitting. So now that there is a really good cash flow, and I don't want people saying, oh, Lee, don't trip, don't, look. This is a situation that honestly in the previous months, it's understandable because finances was like really, really rough. But like, trust me, guys, it has been getting a lot better financially. Let me tell you how good it's been. I'm now in a position where, I have a decent amount of money in my respected accounts. I said accounts plural. I'm in a position now where, okay, this needs to be paid. Okay, it's done. What's next? And I still have a decent amount of money left over. I literally just outlined a return trip to New York City later this year because I'm going to be spending my birthday out there. And we're doing something that we didn't do the last time we were out there, which is we were only out there in New York for, if I'm not mistaken, we went and slept in New Jersey, and then we spent one night in New York and then checked out the next day to leave New York. So technically we were only in New York for one night. Yeah, one night. So this go round, your man over here, I actually booked the same hotel. We're going to be going out there for New York for 4 nights. We're going to be able to enjoy 4 nights. And my girl was like, honey, are you sure? I was like, yeah. It's like, I've already done the math. I've been crunching the numbers. Trust me, everything is on point. We got this. So trust me when I say things are like a lot better now, a lot better. But at the same time, I'm also trying to put myself in a position where I'm not like blowing my whole load all over the damn place at once, man. So my goal right now is to have the remaining stuff that needs to be shipped out. I'm going to do it not this week, but I'm going to do it the following week. I'm going to ship everything off. So if anything, the UK and the Ireland one, I'm going to have to try to figure out what exactly, because I remember those being a little bit pricey last time. Like, not like, woo, but it's definitely kind of like on the last to-do list. And I know one guy had said he wanted a t-shirt. I got to like make sure that the order for that t-shirt, everything is on point as far as the design, the printout, because my God, depending on who it is that you're going to for that shirt and all that, it could be really, really crappy. I've seen some piss poor, and I'm not going to put them under the bus, but I've seen some piss poor t-shirt companies that are like, oh, we love podcasts, yeah, work with us, we could hook you up, we'll take your show logo, and it doesn't live up whatsoever to what you were expecting. It's piss poor fucking quality, man, let me tell you. So I definitely got to make sure that we're getting with the right people to make sure that these t-shirts are on fucking point. So that's probably going to be on the last to-do list. But I really do appreciate everybody's patience, man. I can't tell you how nice it was to receive a couple of messages from people that were like, hey, Lee, thanks, man. Really appreciate it. I know it was taking you a good minute, but, man, it's all good. I know how it is. Trust me, no worries. Overwhelmingly so far, everybody has just been like, Oh, it's fucking cool. So I like that. Great stuff, man. Week is going pretty good. I'm actually looking forward to Friday. I actually am taking off from my day job. I have a little bit of personal time. And I'm like, damn, if I don't use it, I only got but so much that I need to use before the year is out because it does not roll over. So I'm like, hey, I gotta try to take Friday off because I'm trying to get me a hold of that Super NES, man. I want to be one of the first people in line being able to walk into the store, give me that Super NES, bam, and get that bad boy. I'm sure there's probably going to be a lot of you all that's going to be on the hunt for those things as well. Now, look, heads up for you guys. For those of you that might not be able to get a hold of the Super NES Mini, there is a alternative. I'm not sure how many of you all had played around with this respected device before. If you did, that's on you. But there is a retro console by the name of Retron. It costs $44. You can play every single SNES game that was ever made on this device, and you can play NES games. So if you are one of those type of people that are like, man, yeah, the SNES Mini, that's cool, that's nice, you can hook it up to the computer and all this other stuff, but I really want that nostalgic feel. I like being able to look at the cartridges, the packaging that they were in, all that jazz. Well, this is the system for you. This is a throwback to almost what we had when we were growing up as kids with the Super NES and with the NES, the actual game consoles. This does not come with any games. All it is the system. You have to go out and buy the cartridges yourself. Now, there used to be a time where maybe you'd be able to go to a GameStop, or as I remembered it, Funko Land. Yeah, that shows you how far back I go. And you used to be able to buy games that way, but they phased cartridges out, I would have to say, probably in the mid-2000s, give or take. Yeah, I would say the mid-2000s they phased them out. But yeah, in the case of getting cartridges for this respected game console, you're going to have to go on sites like eBay. You're going to have to go on Amazon. What's another one? There's one other, iOffer. You have to go to like places like that. But I mean, you can't really beat this. The Retron game console, it's only $44. So for those of you that are like, I want the SNES, and you can't find it, and like you want to get the SNES because there were like maybe a lot of great titles that you never got around to playing as a kid or teenager, and like you're feeling that whole nostalgia right now, you can approach it that way. Or if it's a situation where you're trying to get this for your kid and have them experience the games that you grew up on playing and you're not able to get a hold of the SNES Mini, okay, well then this is your next best deal to tie them over until more SNES Minis become available. So just thought I'd give you a little bit of that. So if you want, you can actually check this out again. It's Retron. That's the name of it. That's R-E-T-R-O-N, Retron, or Retron. Maybe it's Retron. I'm saying Retron. Maybe it's Retron. Let's try Retron. If you all want to check that out, head on over to eBay. You can also head on over to Amazon. And from what I see, man, it's getting a lot of good, decent reviews. It's a 2-in-1 gaming system. Like I said, you can play SNES games and you can play NES games, so take that for what it's worth. So I will be letting you guys know how that comes about with regards to me grabbing a hold of the SNES Mini. If I am able to get a hold of it, I'll definitely be doing a unveiling that's going to be exclusively for our Patreon members. Which reminds me, earlier this evening, me and my girl, we actually had recorded a unveiling video of me showing the new Jim Ross Slobber Knocker book. I actually received that in the mail earlier, and I was pretty amazed. I think what ended up happening was, I think that because the publishing company had saw my name and that basically I'm a podcaster, I'm a radio personality, I guess they went on ahead and was like, you know what, let's get this out so that he can review this, maybe get a little bit of an early buzz out there, because there's only but a small handful of people that I'm aware of that like have already gotten a hold of Jim Ross's book. I know Sunny definitely, because I have buddies with her on Facebook and I always follow her feed. She was talking over the weekend about how she read the book. It's a must read. So my copy, what makes my copy unique is it's not just a regular copy. My copy is a original signed copy by Jim Ross himself. I get I have a certificate of authenticity that's in there. When you see it, Jim Ross had signed it with a blue Sharpie. The Sharpie ink bleeds through the page. It bleeds through the page. So I'm like, oh, this is awesome. So I really do not want to read it, but because, you know, that's like, I want to keep it in mint condition. But at the same time, I do want to read enough so that I can talk about the book. I know the audible version of this, narrated by Jim Ross, is also supposed to drop. Now, here's the thing. And you all on Amazon, you may be aware of this. But for those of you that pre-ordered it on Amazon and you're like, when is it? When is it? I actually had received a notification earlier this morning that said the estimated ship date was going to be somewhere between October 6th to October 9th. That's when it was supposed to ship. Now, Amazon is saying, oh, no, we're going to have it as of the 3rd. It'll be available as of the 3rd. Well, that might be true and dandy, but I pre-ordered this like at least 2 months ago, and I'm getting, it's expected to ship sometime between the 6th and the 9th. So if you notice, at one point Jim Ross, he actually had liked the tweet, because there was no malice. I was just giving people the information that I had, and Jim Ross had actually liked it. But I guess when he heard back from his proper people, it was kind of like, well, nah, let's just give him this so nobody is really confused. But from what I gathered from the email they sent me, it was basically not somewhere between the 6th to the 9th. Now, that's not the book that I have in my hands right now. The book that I have, I bought this book through not Amazon. I bought it through, I think, Premier Collectors or Premier Collections. And they basically have like a lot of great exclusive deals with a lot of celebrities. And I actually was able to get a hold of Chris Jericho's new book, No is a 4-letter word, an original signed copy from him, and I was really impressed. I was like, wow, this is really, really great quality here. I came on back and I was like, oh, they got Jim Ross too? Oh, they got him the autograph? Oh, okay, let me come on back. And so that's how I was able to get a hold of my copy this early. So later this week, I'll definitely be doing a review for that. But yeah, for our Patreon members, there's actually an unveiling video that I did where I show the book. I also show some new photographs that I'm going to be adding to the wall collection. I have a Bobby the Brain Heenan and a Larry Zbyszko. So if you guys want to check that out, I'm actually going to be editing that and uploading that, hopefully, because the video's already done. I just got to sit down and do it, and that's no biggie. I mean, that's honestly like about 30 minutes, maybe even way less than that. So if I'm not able to do it tomorrow night, I'm definitely going to have it ready to go Thursday evening once I get situated from work. I love doing the unveiling videos, by the way. I haven't done that in a good minute. It felt really good to be doing it once again. Hey, so I did see the WWE No Mercy pay-per-view event. Some of you guys were like, oh, you're not doing after show? Dude, I'm fucking drained half the goddamn time, man. I mean, honestly, I'm surprised I have the energy that I have right now. Because honestly, after SmackDown went off tonight, I was ready to kick on back. I was ready to just roll over, start catching up on some sleep. But my girl really wanted to check out This Is Us. She wanted to watch the season premiere of that, and me personally, I could care less about that show. So it was kind of like, well, if you're going to be watching that, because she didn't watch it when it initially aired live. She basically waited until SmackDown was over, and I was actually getting ready to roll over, go to bed, and she decided, oh, I'm going to watch This Is Us, and it's kind of like, well, shit, if you're going to do that, yeah, because that's kind of like my quality time. I've really been enjoying trying to spend some type of quality time with her. So that's why a lot of the times I really haven't been doing a show on Tuesdays, is because, like, I just feel so alone when I'm not really able to interact with her and everything like that, spend time with her. But since she was watching that, it was kind of like, let me go ahead and do the show. I still have all this energy. It's all pinned up. I do want to do a short show, though. This is not going to be a 2-hour show. I promise you guys. It's not even going to be like an hour 50. At most, it could be anywhere from an hour, maybe an hour 15. Hey, if I could do 90 minutes, that's great. But it's not going to be anywhere near a 2-hour show. I want to keep it short and sweet because I do got to get up for work in the morning. I got to do another double dose, man. So I'm sure you all know how it is. But yeah, I was so drained Sunday night, especially since I was still watching the Redskins game. I was like, fuck this. I'll just go ahead and talk about the pay-per-view on Tuesday. What can I say about No Mercy overall? Overall, it was a decent pay-per-view, but I think what really had hurt the pay-per-view was the fuck finish that came about from 2 matches. I mean, look, I'm not going to be going over the entire card. I'm sure by now a lot of you all had saw the matches. You probably read the results. But if you want me to chime in on some of the matches, what I thought was like the best matches, what I thought was like the worst match of the night, honestly, I thought as far as best match of the entire night, Dean Ambrose, Seth Rollins taking on Cesaro and Sheamus, I thought that was just, I did not think I was really going to be into that particular match from the standpoint I've watched these guys face one another every single week on Raw programming, whether it's in a tag team or they team up with a third person to take them on and a third person of their choosing, or it's singles competition. Like, I've seen these guys interact with each other so many times over the course of the past several weeks that honestly, when it came time for this match to come about, I didn't think I was going to get into it. I honestly thought it was going to be it's going to be a Raw edition type of match. Only it's at a pay-per-view, but whatever. It's just going to be a Raw quality match. But I mean, these guys, they really, really, and let's be honest. Let's be honest. The first half of the match, it did kind of feel like you were watching Raw. But I think once we saw that spot come about with Cesaro, that's when it was like, oh shit, okay, now it's getting interesting. And I tell you, for Cesaro to be able to continue to do that match despite what had happened with his teeth, you talk about a tough dude. They don't get no tougher than that. And according to the Blueprint, Matt Morgan, he had said apparently from his respective sources, when Cesaro had went backstage after the match was over, he had got a standing ovation from personnel and talent. So that, to hear that, that's like, wow, go ahead, Cesaro. But I enjoyed that match. I gotta say, of the entire night, that probably was it. That was the match. Roman Reigns, John Cena, that match played out exactly how I thought it would play out. I really did feel that Roman Reigns needed this victory because honestly, for me, it was just simple on a couple of levels. It was simple for me to go in the direction of Roman Reigns because, number one, remember, this guy had retired The Undertaker. This guy is still relatively young. He has many years left as far as a wrestling career goes. The man is only 32. So if he stays healthy, you definitely got 7 more years you can squeeze out of this guy, maybe even 8 more years out of this guy. But considering his body of work so far, him being the one to not only defeat The Undertaker at WrestleMania, the second person to defeat Undertaker at WrestleMania, but to supposedly retire The Undertaker, you got to look at the bigger payoff for down the road. And the way it's kind of looking right now, it appears as though maybe Roman Reigns has a date with destiny in the form of Brock Lesnar for that WWE Universal Championship. Only time will tell. But also another equation, the fact that Cena was owning Roman Reigns on the microphone week after week. Roman had some nice little, oh, that was okay, but like he was honestly, Cena was winning every single time. Even when Roman had came out on the No Mercy Go Home show, he bounced back pretty nicely compared to the other promos that he did leading up to what we had saw last Monday. But when it was all said and done, John Cena still owed this guy on the mic. So for me, it definitely came down to, well, who would benefit the most from this win? Who would truly benefit the most? And for me, it was like Roman is the way to go, especially when you have John Cena, who is now at that point in his career where there's so many different other projects that's coming his way. And the way it's looking right now is slowly but surely he's getting phased out of the WWE. And I tell you, post-match was really funny to see Cena in the middle of the ring. And my allergies are killing me right now. I don't know what the hell is going on, but I am like allergic to something in here. This is one of those rare special times where I wish I had a co-host, because as the co-host would be talking, I could easily just blow my nose, and you all don't have to like fucking hear the sound effects of a nose being blown. But I tell you, man, I got to blow my nose because it's like, I don't know what the hell. Like, I was okay until I got in here and I started doing the show. You guys got to forgive me, man. It's live. Anything can happen when we're on the air. I got to blow my nose, man. Oh my God. That is, whew. Oh, all of a sudden allergies are kicking in. I don't get that. Maybe I need to dust. What was I saying though? Roman Reigns, right? Yeah, but I mean, John Cena is like in this transition right now where slowly but surely he is phasing out of the WWE, and all these new projects that he's got lined up right now, there's just no telling how many more years this guy has left that he could really contribute to the WWE. I mean, without a shadow of doubt, as far as full-time status goes, that's off the table. But I think right now with what we're seeing coming about with John Cena, he is now moving into that Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson transition where he helps out every couple of months where he can, does whatever WWE needs. He tries to do his very best when he is free and he's able to help them out. And once those commitments have been made, goes right back and he's on the road again dealing with whatever projects that he's dealing with outside of the WWE. That is the transition that John Cena is in now, and for me it's nothing surprising. It's nothing surprising of any kind. I knew in my heart of hearts that a day would come where John Cena would really kind of take a step back and kind of realize, hey, this is the transition that I'm on now. I knew in my heart of hearts that one day he would be following in the same footsteps as Dwayne Johnson. Now, I don't mean from the Hollywood blockbuster standpoint. I just mean as far as life outside of WWE. That's the approach I'm coming from, right? That's the mindset that I'm coming from right now. And I tell you, Roman Reigns, I have always been consistent with this. Always. Always. You find me one time that I haven't been consistent. If there's one thing I've always been consistent about with my talk of Roman Reigns, it is that this kid has a really good head on his shoulders. Everybody that gets interviewed, they constantly put this guy over. People I've had the opportunity to sit down, do an interview / conversation with, the talk of Roman Reigns is brought up. They put this guy over. It just really comes off like a very humbled young man, has a really deep appreciation, affection for the business, for the sport, and is just one of those guys, a good model citizen, a good model employee, will do any and everything that is asked of him. What more could you want in a guy like that? As long as he could continue to stay healthy, stay out of trouble, don't fail any drug tests, I mean, this guy could go pretty fucking far career-wise. And I have always felt in my heart of hearts that Roman does really good, solid matches. Probably the only thing I've always kind of scratched my head over is, well, what exactly is going on with his gimmick? Like, why they got him out here talking like this? Why is he cutting these type of promos? It's just, well, what I've been seeing the past couple of weeks, I mean, they've really just been stepping it up. But he is still a work in progress. He still has long ways to go of stringing it all together as far as his promo work goes. But he is coming along. I will definitely give him that. He's definitely coming along. But the Roman Reigns John Cena match had played out exactly how I had felt it was going to play out. Enzo Amore taking on Neville for the Cruiserweight Championship. I gotta tell you, to see that finish come about the way that it had played about, I thought it was an interesting finish. And I saw some interesting reactions to this finish. First off, him coming out there looking like Beetlejuice. My God, man. I mean, as soon as I saw that outfit, I just put it out there. And, like, it was amazing, like, within minutes, how many people were just like, it's fucking Beetlejuice. I like the fact that so many of us were like Beetlejuice. I love that. I love that because I'm thinking to myself, after I had put it out there initially, like as soon as I saw Enzo come out, I took a screen image and I'm like, what the fuck? I didn't think people would like be hip to that. I mean, there were people in their 20s, in their teens that was going Beetlejuice. So to know that like Beetlejuice is one of those things that transcended pretty well over the years, I think that's fucking awesome, because I was just laughing my butt off. I'm thinking, because sometimes I feel like an old man. I really do. And the people I work with at my overnight gig, they definitely make me feel like an old man. I remember like a couple of weeks ago, I was talking to this one guy I was working with, and I think somehow the subject of, oh God, what's the show? Good Times. Oh, excuse me, guys. Somehow the topic of Good Times was brought up. And he was like, what's that? I'm like, you've never heard of Good Times? It was a show based out in Chicago during the 70s. It was developed by Norman Lear. And he just looked at me and shook his head like, nah, I don't know anything about that. I was like, do you at least know who Norman Lear is? And he's like, no. It's like, Norman Lear, the guy behind All in the Family with Carol O'Connor, Archie Bunker, Edith. And he just was like, nah. Oh, are you talking about the joint with Urkel? I'm like, nah, man, you're thinking Family Matters. I felt so fucking outdated, man. I'm like, and I asked him, I said, what are you kids watching these days? Like, what's got you all talking? And he named some shows, and I'm like, okay. And I forgot how I got around it because I didn't want him feeling bad. But I think one of the shows he mentioned was Teen Wolf or some shit like that. I'm like, yeah, no wonder, dude. But no, like, seriously. And then there was another time where I had a Knight Rider reference because I had found a smartwatch while I was on patrol. And I was like, hey, look what I found. And they were like, oh, yeah, it's a blah, 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 blah. I was like, yeah, apparently it's a Samsung. And I was like, isn't technology amazing? Like, now you can make a phone call with your watch. Like, how cool is that? Like, we go from the Star Trek days where people are busting out their little telecommunicators. It's kind of like a flip phone, and they're talking that way, right? And then, like, you go, like, to Knight Rider, and Michael's talking to Kit through his watch, and they're like, he's like, what's a Knight Rider? Like, who's Michael? Wait, Kit? What, are you talking about the rapper? It's like, no! So, like, I feel so outdated, but it was really nice seeing everybody just, Beetlejuice. I thought that was a very peculiar finish. I wasn't upset. Well, I was a bit taken back by the finish. I was definitely a bit taken back by the finish because it was like, wow, so a kick to the balls while the referee isn't looking or whatever, and boom, we got a new Cruiserweight champion. What the hell? But then the more and more I thought about it, I said, you know what? This is probably going to generate heat. This is probably going to make a lot of those storyline-wise of the Cruiserweight division pissed off that he was able to do something that none of them were able to do. A lot of people had stepped up to the plate storyline-wise to take on Neville for that Cruiserweight title, and all of them fell short. So for Neville to be able to do the unthinkable, something that a lot of those guys in the Cruiserweight division were not able to do, they're probably going to have a chip over their shoulders because it's like, hey, this guy was able to, right? So that made a lot of sense. And then also it created buzz. It definitely had created somewhat, I won't say excitement, not unless you're a hardcore WWE fan and you like support whatever they're giving you programming wise every week, regardless, right? You're just through and through a soldier. More power to you. But I would like to think that the casual WWE fan that really hasn't cared anything about the 205 division kind of looked at that and said, okay, they're probably going to address this on Raw. I want to see in what direction they're going to be going in here. And sure enough, what a very interesting dynamic that had came about with Raw. I don't want to kind of go in and out like that, but we're still talking the No Mercy card. Brock Lesnar, Braun Strowman. I can't believe that there were so many people that were like, Braun is going to... Can I be honest with you guys? What have I been telling you guys as of late? I've been telling you guys what I would like to happen, but what's probably going to happen. That's how you have to think, man. Like, yes, without a shadow of doubt, if you ask me straight up, Lee, what did you make of the Brock Lesnar, Braun Strowman finish? My personal opinion, I would say to you straight up, well, you know what? I would have no problem with Brock Lesnar doing what he had did. And honestly, the storytelling for the match was great. It was actually great because for the first time in a long time, Brock Lesnar, since he's been back with the WWE this go round, he barely was able to come out of a match on top. This was like the first time since he's been back in the WWE where it was no cakewalk for him. Now, some would make the argument, maybe not really since The Undertaker. Undertaker was kind of giving it to him there, right? Some would kind of maybe make that argument to a certain degree. But I would say not since Undertaker. Storyline-wise, this was a really good challenge for Brock Lesnar, and he barely came out on top, right? If I had to nitpick anything, I really didn't like the fact that Braun Strowman does all of these goddamn, he does all these crazy freaking things. He does the scoop up power slams multiple times, takes Brock Lesnar over to the freaking announcer's table, and you got all this crazy shit that's coming about, but yet Brock Lesnar does what? One F5, and that's pretty much it. Just to be on the safe side, because my memory is a little bit fuzzy, let's say Braun had kicked out of one F5. Alright, so Brock Lesnar does another F5. Basically, the point I'm making, we saw Braun dish out so much and Brock kick out. But when it came time for Brock Lesnar to get on the offense, and when it came time for Braun to really come out looking like a monster among men, to really come out superhuman, it fell short on so many levels, so much so that honestly what really rubbed me the wrong way about this particular bout was the finish, the post-match, because you got Brock Lesnar after he defeats Braun is kind of like coming to, and he realizes what happened, and you're going, well, wait a minute now, we've still got some tables in play. We still got a little bit of showtime left. How much of a sore loser is Braun Strowman going to be? Is Braun Strowman going to be the type of sore loser that's just going to be like, the hell with this, and he's just going to continue to beat the holy hell out of Brock Lesnar? He's going to beat up Brock Lesnar so bad that, like, Brock Lesnar is legitimately going to sell those injuries, and we're not going to see Brock Lesnar for a hot minute. Okay, that would, like, explain Brock Lesnar being gone from TV for a couple of weeks. Okay, I'd buy that. I could definitely buy into that. But no, we don't see anything like that come about. So the ending was definitely, and I understand people were booing because they wanted them some Braun Strowman. If you ask me straight up, Lee, what did you would have liked happen in that match? Would I have liked it if Braun would have gone over Brock Lesnar? Yes, I would have loved it. Why would I have loved it? Because I have loved the storytelling that WWE Creative has done with Braun Strowman. It has been a really great evolution of this guy who just continues to get better and better in that ring every single week. At the same time, however, I really felt that in my heart of hearts, this was what went down Sunday, Braun Strowman's big, not interview, but this was his big audition. This was his big audition, because really stop and think about it. So many people are upset over this, and to the point, I have a Twitter poll that I have put out there, and if you want to cast your vote on the Twitter poll, you can, as you have a couple of days left to do so. Twitter, at the RCWR Show. What do you mean the password and username does not match? I don't understand. That does not compute. Hold up a second here, guys. I can't believe that actually went down. Why are you saying that? Now we're locked in. Great. Alright, so I have the poll that we did for No Mercy. And here it is. I asked you guys straight up, how would you rate it? We got 2 days left. Right now, 17% of you gave it a thumbs down overall. 20% of you are giving it a thumbs up. 23% of you are staying in the middle and taking the lead. 40% are giving the pay-per-view a thumbs down, specifically because Braun Strowman is not the champion. So if you want to chime in on that, get on there and vote. Twitter at the RCWR Show. You got about 2 days left to vote. I understand that, but look at it from this standpoint, right? Look at it from this standpoint. Let's say you see somebody at your job that looks really good. You don't interact with this person, but like from your vantage point, the little bit that you're able to see of them within passing distance, it looks as though, hey, they look pretty smart. When you hear them speak, they're very articulate. They sound like they know their stuff. Wow, they seem pretty cool. All right, awesome. So you seeing all this from afar, and then the next thing you know, a scenario comes about where this person becomes the president of the company. And it's kind of like, whoa, wow, that was a quick turnaround. Like, they've only been here for like about 6 months. Like what the hell? Now, some people would be like, well, that's pretty impressive if you're able to come in and like within a handful of months, you're able to reach the heights of that type of position. Wow, you must really be doing something pretty good, right? Now, what if it was just a scenario where, no, to the contrary, it wasn't because of the hard work, the time, the dedication that they put in, because they know their stuff. They were just put in that position because they looked the part. See, that's sometimes we as fans, we get so quick to be defensive. Some of us, we get so upset when we see something play out in a way of which, no, that's not what I want. What I want is, and it's kind of like, well, stop. Ask yourself, why do you really want this? What are the reasons why you want this? And it was interesting asking certain people, well, why did you want Braun to win? And some of the answers were, because Braun's a freaking beast, because Braun, he's cool. And, it was really hard to this date, mind you, to really find a very well-detailed, a very well-informed rebuttal why someone wants to see Braun Strowman as the champion right now. Now, granted, I've even had people say to me, well, honestly, I'm tired of Brock Lesnar. I'm tired of this silly little schedule that he has right now as the champion. I want to see a champion weekly when I watch the flagship show. To a certain degree, I can see where somebody is coming from with that, right? To the people that voted thumbs down because Braun is not champion, really stop and say this to yourself. What Braun did Sunday was his big audition. It was his big audition. He was given the last spot of the night, mind you, for a pay-per-view event for the major championship. And for me to see him in that type of a position, working with an established superstar in and outside of the WWE ring, all right, how was he going to be able to hold up? And quite honestly, I thought Braun Strowman did a fantastic job for everything that has been coming at this guy at a rather fast rate. Mind you, he has really been adapting and he's been persevering successfully well. I have been very impressed. So for me, even though he did not come away with the championship on Sunday, for me, he still walked away a winner. But that finish, to just have him there looking at Brock Lesnar like that to close out the pay-per-view, they should have cleaned that up. They really, really, really should have cleaned that up. Braun, mark my words, he's going to become champion. He's going to become champion. It's just right now, we got to go through a couple of things. Right now, we got to get through this whole, because that's the way it's looking right now. Braun, Roman for the title. We got to get past that. Once we're able to get past that, I think then and only then will we be able to be like, okay, what's up with Braun? But Braun's continuing to be Braun, man, and I'm loving it. I'm honestly loving it. But honestly, if I were to rate the pay-per-view event out of 10, just the fuck finish for what came about with Braun and Lesnar, just from the standpoint of everything I had said about that match, how I wish Braun could have been kicking out of more. If you really want him to be this monster, like what the hell? Think about it. You got your nice, good, classic throwback of a fucking movie like Jason or whatever, and somebody's just continuing to empty their fucking rounds in the fucking Jason, and he's just continuing to approach them. It's like, God damn, what do I have to do to kill this thing? This thing is almost like a supernatural or whatever. I really wish they would have kind of had that mindset with Braun Strowman or whatever, but just thinking about the closing moments of that matchup, post-matchup, to not have Brock Lesnar just be like manhandled by a belligerent Strowman, right? Also looking at the awkward finish to that cruiserweight match, because it definitely was awkward. Looking at Cesaro Sheamus, which was a really, really good matchup. Honestly, I would give it a 7 out of 10. I'm being firm. I think that's more than nice. Quite honestly, a 7 out of 10 I would give for it. How we doing on Showtime, by the way? Oh, we're doing pretty good. We're almost approaching an hour, so that's good. Hey, as always, I'll appreciate you guys that check out the episodes every single week. Make sure if you haven't done so already, you click on that little heart icon button /like, especially if you're seeing this right now on the Spreaker website. We kind of slipped a little bit in the rankings, man. We had been hanging on to our number 6 spot for a long time, and we actually got knocked down to number 7. So, I mean, we're still in the top 10. That's good. It's good that we've been able to maintain that, but who knows? Maybe because I haven't been live every single week, that could be part of the equation, or maybe, I don't know, but click on the heart, make sure you share, retweet, all that, man. Let's talk a little bit about Raw. I'm not doing a whole full-blown Raw recap, but what I saw of Raw this week, a couple of things that kind of came to mind. I like how now it appears as though Roman Reigns is now engaging in a feud with The Miz over the Intercontinental Championship. I thought for sure that maybe Jason Jordan was going to make that transition. It kind of seemed as though it was right there for the taking, but no, we're actually going with Roman Reigns now in a feud with The Miz for the Intercontinental title. They played very well off of each other, because remember, Miz TV had kicked off with Roman Reigns as his guest. Great chemistry between those two. Roman Reigns is still coming in with that swag from that promo that he had last week. Although I must admit, his timing was a little bit off once again. Seemed as though he was trying to find the right type of words to say. He was searching. He's got to really work on that. You could tell sometimes when the crowd is getting to him, and he's gonna have to learn in time to not let the crowd dictate his pace and just run right through it. But yeah, they had a match. If I'm not mistaken, it was a non-title matchup. And how did that match end? I'm trying to think how that ended. Closing moments of that matchup, we actually saw Reigns connect with a big DDT that only had got him a close 2 count. Actually, no, Miz had dropped Roman Reigns with a big DDT, only had got a 2 count. Reigns had blocked the skull crushing finale and bounces off the ropes with a spear for the win, but post-match, Axel, Dallas, they attacked from behind, beat him down. Miz joined in, and they all just did a serious number on Roman Reigns. And apparently next week it's going to be Roman Reigns taking on Miz again. I didn't catch if that was going to be for the IC title, but those two are definitely going to be locking it up again on next week's show. So that should be good. But yeah, it looks as though Roman's going after Miz for that IC title. So hey, I'm not complaining whatsoever, man. Not complaining at all. Anything else jump to mind with regards to Raw this week? Just thinking, honestly, I like the fact that there was a little bit of a nod to Mickie James. Mickie James has honestly been forgotten about. it's been sad. It's really been sad. Like, I remember when Mickie James had came back to NXT, and she had, for one night only, took on Asuka for the NXT Women's Championship, and she was getting a lot of love. Great reaction from the crowd, man. Was loving it. And to hear Alexa Bliss on Raw Talk call Mickie James an old lady, right, past her bedtime or whatever like that, I'm going, wait a minute now. You're saying Mickie James is old. I can understand it if Mickie James was like 50 or some shit like that, but Mickie James is only 38. Again, Mickie James is only 38. See, this is not Alexa Bliss's fault. First off, this is not her fault. I'm sure she was probably fed that. She had to been. Because if we're going to operate like that, Mickie James is 38, and our girl Asuka just turned 36. Okay? So this shit about, this person's old. This person's old. Like, we kind of need to stop with that. Because that's just, okay, your current SmackDown Women's Champion, Natalya, she's 35. Alright, so can we stop with this whole, I don't like it. It just rubs me the wrong way. And can I just be candid with you all? Straight up 100. It pisses me off to see a beautiful, talented woman like Mickie James be in this position where she's basically just collecting a paycheck. If there was ever a woman on the roster who I'm looking at and I'm kind of going, well, damn, she's kind of being poorly utilized. She's not really getting any love. It would be Mickie James. Everything that this girl has been able to accomplish in and outside of the WWE, I would have thought that she'd had a more dominant presence, especially in everything that's going on right now with this whole women's revolution and all that. I would have thought she would have been able to come right back in there and be a core centerpiece once again. But it just hasn't gone off that well. And it's really, really sad. It almost reminds me of what it was like when Trish Stratus had tried to come back to the WWE a couple of times, and how quickly the fans have forgot. I mean, she really did not get the type of reactions you thought she would. If anything, the reactions were legitimate and, very sincere when it came to her Hall of Fame induction. The fans definitely showed up then, but, other than the NXT crowd for Mickie James when she was taking on Asuka, you just look at how it's been for her since she came through SmackDown, and the crowd's kind of like, hey. And she's on Raw, and you get the exact same thing. It's very nerve-wracking. And the fact that we gotta now call Mickie James old, that's the direction we're going. Old. Look, man, I don't mean to be going on and on about this, but everybody that's been watching the WWE for as long as I have definitely remembers that period where Mickie James was called Miss Piggy. So forgive me if I'm a little bit on the fence right now when I kind of look at, so now we're calling a woman like Mickie James that honestly, I just told you all, 38. She doesn't even look 38. The girl looks like she might be 33, maybe 34. I mean, she's aged very well. Manuel, she gave birth. What's it been, maybe about 2 years ago or something like that? So, for me, it's just really nerve-wracking. It's really sad, especially from the standpoint of, like, you grew up watching talented performers like a Mickie James long before they came into the WWE. You know what they're capable of if they're given the right material and they're given the right opponent to play off of. Do I think there's interesting chemistry that's there? between her and Alexa Bliss, yeah, sure, no doubt about it. There's definitely chemistry there, but it's still nerve-wracking at the same time to see somebody you know has it, and they're just, but I'm reminded that this is something that, like, is going to always be a revolving door. We could sit here all fucking night and we could go over, well, it could be this, it'd be cool if they did this instead. Honestly, hey, I'm happy for Mickey that she's back in the WWE. I'm happy from the following standpoints. One, it's a good source of income. Her kids taken care of. Whatever other personal finances she has going on, she can easily attend to those. I would imagine she has the type of schedule that she needs so that she can get that quality time to go be a mom and all that, enjoy her personal life, right? So I'm happy for her. I'm happy that she was able to come on back to the WWE, given all the controversy that had came about last go round she was there and how it ultimately had led to her exit. It's nice that this go round she's able to come on back, and hopefully when it's all said and done, this go round leave on her terms. So I'm happy from all of those standpoints, but I just wish that a lot more could be done with a talented woman like that. And I'm hoping that with Asuka getting ready to show up, that maybe these two girls can get into a really, really good program. Because honestly, I would love to see these two pick up from what had went down in their one and only match. Because I thought for sure there was maybe going to be a rematch between these two for the NXT title, women's title. But there's definitely some history there, and maybe it's that much needed boost that really can be a proper way to introduce Asuka to the mainstream WWE fan base, but then also at the same time reestablishing Mickie James as the force that she once used to be. It's so hard to believe. Mickie James at one point was like the most talked about diva / female superstar. I mean, she was right up there with a Trish Stratus, and you just fast forward, you come to now, and it's not like she gained an extra 180 pounds and you don't recognize her anymore. It's not like that hot looking chick that was on the Beverly Hillbillies, and you look at how she is now and you go, damn, like, wait, she used to look like, what happened, right? It's nothing like that. You still recognize Mickie James. I don't know. You guys got to forgive me for that long rant there, but hopefully you feel where I'm coming from. So other than that, I definitely like the flip that came about on Raw, where we had fucking Enzo Amore really coming off like a heel. Let's be honest, the guy came off like a heel as he was putting down every single cruiserweight in that division. Putting them all down. And the words that he said to Neville, I mean, my God, it don't get no much realer than somebody saying to that person and the other people that's part of that division, we can combine all of your checks, and you that was the champion for the longest period of time, we can take your check, put it in with the rest of the guys. It don't come nowhere near close to my merchandise sales check, man. I'm the superstar. I'm the shit. You talk about the lines blurring as far as truth. Woo! My God, that was just, that's the type of stuff I'm talking about from the WWE we've been getting these past couple of weeks, man. I mean, they are giving it to you, no pun intended, raw. I love how they are just like, hey, look, we need to address this controversy. We need to address this negativity that we've got out there on the web. Whether it's true, partly true, not true, this is the conception that's out there, right? All right, well, let's buy into that, and I appreciate WWE just kind of going, all right, well, let's shake it up a little bit. Let's try this. Let's embrace it and let's go in this direction. I was loving it. I was loving it to see Neville come on out there and he's actually being cheered on by his peers. I loved it. I fucking was eating all of that up. It was like a weird double flip in one night. Neville's coming out there, you know, inadvertently becoming a babyface, and freaking Enzo Amore like inadvertently becomes the heel. I mean, just being a pompous jackass demanding that he has a coronation. That he has a coronation, right? Because all the other champions, they have theirs, so he wants his too, right? So, like, he gets his coronation. He's putting down all of these guys that have been busting their ass since the Cruiserweight tournament debuted on the network, and they've been part of the division ever since. Honestly, this was a great move, having Enzo Amore with the Cruiserweights. WWE, I must say, it's obvious they have thought this out as far as what they want to do with Enzo. And I'm telling you, if it's now kind of getting to that point where, you know, with the way they're doing Enzo, you know what it kind of reminds me of? I'm not saying it's 100% definitely spot on like this, but do you know what it reminds me of? Enzo's current situation reminds me so much of how it was kind of like when William Regal had became the Raw general manager. You want to talk about absolute power. I still remember that infamous episode of Monday Night Raw, and William Regal, like, again, he was like the Raw GM, and he like hijacked the fucking show, and he was like, I'm going to tell you guys when the show's going to go off, you know, we're going to cut it off the air. And I mean, you know, he kind of has that William Regal-esque type of vibe to him, you know, because he was a damn good Raw general manager. I mean, if it wasn't for that wellness policy violation, there's just no telling how far William Regal could have gone, man. I mean, but Enzo Amore, like, he almost has like that type of heat, and I'm loving it. I mean, shit, think about it. Think about what you had saw Monday night. You had fans that were actually booing Enzo Amore and that were actually cheering Neville. I mean, that was just a crazy 180 that night, man. Crazy 180. We did see SmackDown go off the air not too long ago. Not really much came about from this episode. Singh brothers, Jinder Mahal out there once again, cracking on Shinsuke Nakamura. They did not really get a chance to put any racist jokes out there, although they did put up a few still images of Nakamura's face, making fun of him. Nakamura would legitimately appear on the Titantron, and his music played. He came on out, beat the crap out of the Singh brothers, was roughing it up with Jinder Mahal for a little bit. You know, those two are going to be getting it on at Hell in a Cell in a few weeks. We also saw Sami Zayn take on Kevin Owens. This match was pretty much the result of Sami earlier in the night to kick off the show, talk to Kevin Owens and say, hey man, this stuff that you got going on with Shane McMahon, like, you're going way too far. Like, when you put your hand on the boss, Vince McMahon, you pretty much had sealed your fate. Now you're going in a direction that, like, I'm afraid you're not going to be able to come out. And man, I hate to tell you, but when you put yourself in these spots, you usually don't come out pretty good. And Kevin Owens just basically telling him, yeah, I hear what you're saying, but don't worry about me. Don't worry about my family. Honestly, worry about yourself. And let's take it a step further. For the past 15 years that you and me have been connected with one another, I've always had the better career than you. So it's just one of those deals where you kind of saw from their interaction, wait a minute, rivalry renewed once again, because that's like what we stay hearing with these guys. Sure enough, Daniel Bryan comes out, feeds off of the friction happening between these two men, puts them in a match. Kevin Owens was actually out there talking about Shane O'Mac, wondering where he was and all that. And Daniel Bryan said to him, don't worry, Shane is going to be here. I don't know when, but he will be here. So you go to that main event match between those two. The winner of that one was Kevin Owens. Closing moments of that match, Sammy runs to do the DDT through the ropes, but Owens ended up super kicking him. He would then go for the power bomb on the apron, nailed it. Referee calls the match. Your winner, Kevin Owens. So after the match, you got the referees. They're calling for help as Owens is standing over Sammy. They show the replays of pretty much everything that had went down. Owens runs over, attacks Sammy from behind, knocking down the paramedics, trainer. Owens then tries to go for a steel chair as everyone is begging him not to go there, including Adam Pearce. Owens tried to wrap the chair around Sammy's neck, but then the music of Shane McMahon played. And as Shane is running down the ramp, Owens actually tosses Sammy into Shane. So Shane goes down and Owens retreats through the crowd. Shane was able to come back, rebounding, standing. The only thing he could do is watch in the middle of the ring as Owens walks up the stairs into the crowd. And that pretty much was it for SmackDown for that week. Other than that, just thinking if there's anything else that really kind of jumped to mind with SmackDown this week. Oh, yes. Bobby Roode came on back. We saw Dolph Ziggler this week spoof The Undertaker. And he basically was saying the same rhetoric he's been saying the past couple of weeks. And we had got Bobby Roode. Bobby Roode come out, say to him, hey, I hear what you're saying as far as being one of the best in-ring talents in this ring. Well, how about you and me get it on at No Mercy? Long story short, Dolph Ziggler would accept that challenge. I thought for sure Dolph Ziggler was going to do some type of a cheap attack on Roode, something, but nah, he pretty much he accepted the challenge. I was like, wow, I was pleasantly surprised. Well, hey, he's just that arrogant. I guess when you're that arrogant, yeah, sure. And not to mention, when you're showing Dolph Ziggler 4 to 5 fucking times for his cricket commercial, I mean, come on, I guess you got to have a little bit of arrogance, right? So in a couple of weeks, it's going to be, or actually a week from Sunday, it's going to be Bobby Roode taking on Dolph Ziggler. I guess Dolph Ziggler is, damn, I can't believe I just thought that. Dolph Ziggler is kind of like the initiation fee, if you will. You know, you got that new girl that you're trying to break in, right? You give them the Dolph Ziggler, right? Yeah, I mean, seriously, that's literally how it's been coming off. We've seen Ziggler in this position so many times over the years. They're going to have a really great match. I was really hoping it wasn't going to go in this direction because I literally had said on the show last week, I hope that's not the direction that they're going. But it seems to be where they're going. I told you guys last week, I'll say it again, I think they're going to have a really great match, but what did I say exactly? I said I don't really pick up chemistry. I don't think the chemistry would click with these two guys, and I got to tell you, from what I saw tonight between these two men, I didn't get that. Now maybe something can happen between now and next week, man, but it's like, oh great, Ziggler's taking on Bobby Roode. Like, they need to really like hype up Bobby Roode, man. They need to do the vignettes, they need to do the backdrop, all that shit, man. I need to see more of it. Sadly, when he came out, really didn't have that many people singing to his theme song and all that like Nakamura, so maybe it just depends on the city. We'll see. Pretty good edition of SmackDown, though, otherwise. Let's see. So, wow, that's pretty much been the talk of wrestling. I want to get into some headlines here. How we doing on Showtime, though? Yeah, we're actually doing pretty good. So I'm actually going to get my wish. Yeah, it's going to be a nice, good, short show. I'm curious, what do you all have for a episode thumbnail? Let me see. What are you guys looking at here? I'm just making sure you guys are on point. And click on the heart. Click the heart. If you're listening live, click on the little heart /like. It's the episode recommended. Yeah. Let's see, what else can we get into, man? Just a couple of headlines I want to get into. Number one, I never thought I'd see the day where sports and politics would blend in. You know, all the craziness that's happening in politics, and I don't mean just this political season alone. I just mean with regards to the talk of politics in general. I tell you, when you have somebody, whether it's a family member or it's a close friend that doesn't share your ideology, you are going to have some really heated conversations. No doubt about it. And depending how heated those conversations are, it can result in no longer having that friendship or no longer having that relative in your life for that time being. For however, how long, right? And it just gets to that point where you kind of go, well, you know what, man? There's just certain things that just need to be, I'm not going there. You gotta put up some type of a barrier. And you know, it just seems like there used to be a time where, hey, when it comes to the talk of sports, well, who's your team? Oh, you like them? Psh, man, I saw your team last week lose, blah, 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 blah. What happened? You know, but there's still that friendly camaraderie that's going on. Y'all are still able to put whatever differences to the side, whatever beliefs, you're able to put all that bullshit to the side, sit down, watch a really good game. And I gotta tell you, the shit that had came about with President Trump. Now look, I don't want people to be like, oh, you Trump hater, or I have always been consistent, and I will continue to be consistent. When President Trump is doing something right, I will give him praise. When I feel he is doing something wrong, I will give constructive criticism. I don't have a problem with him saying what he had said with regards to how he felt about NFL players that were taking a knee, you know, during the national anthem with the whole flag. And I don't have a problem with him voicing his opinion, because that's what makes this country so beautiful. Freedom of speech. You're able to say what you want. And we all might not agree with a lot of the things that's being said, but our country gives us that right to do it. You know, it's in our right. And the men and women that serve in the military and they fight all these wars overseas, abroad, you know, they're doing their part in helping and ensuring that we're able to have the type of luxury, to have the type of freedom and rights that we're able to have. Because some countries, as you all know, don't have these types of rights. So I have no problem with President Trump saying what he said. However, I do have a problem with him calling the NFL players sons of bitches. I do have a problem with that, because that is just no way for a person that has the highest position in U.S. government. Mind you, that's just poor etiquette. That is just a poor choice of words. A very poor choice of words. And I will be quick to tell you that with regards to what was coming about with the NFL these past couple of years, what was no doubt a crazy political season, NFL season, look, they made their revenue. They still did pretty well from last season. If it wasn't for the political season, they might have done a little bit better. But hey, it was all about decision 2017 or whatever, right? Or 2016, whatever you want to call it. So they really wanted to get out there get their voices heard, vote, all that. Want to check out the candidates, wanted to check out the first of however many debates, right? They wanted to get into all of that, right? So the timing for the NFL that year, it definitely was bad. It was bad on all cylinders. It wasn't too bad. They still made a lot of good money, but it could have been better. All I have to say is, President Trump, thank you so very much for really putting the spotlight on the NFL this weekend, because what you basically did was you had people get together just to see as many games as they possibly could to see how the NFL teams were going to be responding. And that in itself, and see, this is the other thing. Now, see, I said what I said about Trump. Oh my God, I haven't even gotten started yet. I still have to talk about the players. Woo! First off, I'm tired of people asking the question, well, what are these NFL players mad about? Why are they taking a knee? Like I don't understand. First off, let's back up a second. Colin Kaepernick has started all of this. Does anybody really know why he took that knee? If you really do not know why he took that knee, I suggest you do your proper research. But this ties into him having a personal conversation with someone that had served in the military. That's where all of this basically has stemmed from, and it's just manifested since. And what I find going on right now with regards to the NFL, it's a hypocrisy. Because on the one hand, you have the NFL players and you got the owners and all that saying, oh no, what Colin Kaepernick did, that's a disgrace. That's this, it's that. And you got players saying, oh no, I'm not going to do that. I'm not pulling a Colin Kaepernick because I see right now that shit, he ain't playing. You see where it got him? No, I'm not interested in doing that. And you got Ray Lewis's that are, oh no, the way he's doing it is wrong, and blah 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 blah, all this, right? Yet you have the President of the United States call NFL players sons of bitches, because as far as he's concerned, anybody that sits down during the national anthem, anybody that gets on a knee and all that, you know, you should be fired because you're disrespecting the flag. All of a sudden, these same people, the Ray Lewis's, all of them, all of a sudden, oh well, we're gonna sit during the protest, or we're gonna take a knee during the protest. Now the narrative is lost. And then that's what's really like disappointing for me right now, is that the initial narrative is now lost. And what I need for people to understand is everything goes back to Colin Kaepernick. Understand why he took the kneel that he did. Understand that. I don't like how it's manifested to where it is now, because the original narrative is now lost. And that's just not fair. It's not fair to Colin Kaepernick. It's just stupid. It's just honestly stupid. And at the end of the day, the way that it really comes off is like, on the one hand, you go, oh, it's great to see these owners and the NFL players. They're all coming together. Oh, there's such great unity. We haven't seen this since 9/11. And, you know, I get it. I get it. Trust me. But, like, now more than ever, the NFL players should be taking this opportunity to say, hey, President Trump, all due respect, but do you know why guys like Colin Kaepernick had took the knee? I had my boss say to me the other day, well, why are these guys taking the knee? Like, and I had to explain it to her. And I can't stress it enough. You have so many NFL players, great athletes that are going out there. They're doing work in the communities. They are doing great charitable events. I can't stress that enough. These are really, really great citizens. So much so that, like, all the different economic backgrounds, be it good or bad, that a lot of these NFL players had when they were coming up, and for them to now be in the position that they're in where they can give back to the community. A lot of these guys are doing it right. And to kind of follow up on what Chris Collinsworth had said on the Redskins game Sunday night, if I had any friendly piece of advice that I would like to give to the President of the United States, it would be, you know, I understand you like to get your news from Twitter, or you like to watch Fox, or, you know, heard it from a friend who heard it from a friend who, you know, right? But, like, why not invite some of these NFL players to the White House for a closed meeting and understand? You know, this goes back to what I had said last week when I was talking about podcasting beef and all that shit. Like, you know, try to understand the facts. When you're in doubt and you don't really have that clarity and you're trying to make sense of it all, okay, even more than ever, you should be reaching out and saying, hey, look, I want to invite you to the White House because I want to learn more about what's going on. And you know what? Even if you can't agree with the act that's being committed, at least you can walk out of there and say, hey, I understand these guys. You know, I don't like it, but I understand why they're doing it. And please, don't tell me, you know, it's a generational thing. Don't tell me no, don't, please, because those are cop-outs. Those are cop-outs. You know, I'm shocked that Jerry Jones had basically agreed with what Trump had said, but, you know, you got guys that are in their respected ages that are like, no, and they're not putting on the front. Anytime you got Tom Brady, you got Michael Jeffrey Jordan, you know, saying, ah, man, this ain't right. And those two guys carry mad weight. I never thought I'd see the day where fucking sports mixes in with politics to this extreme. And it's almost now gotten to that point where it's like, it's fucking sad. We got people that are like, well, I'm not watching the NFL because of what's happening to Kaepernick. And then you've got, well, I'm not watching the NFL because any football player that's not going to stand during the national anthem ain't no real American to me. So fuck them and fuck the NFL, right? It's supposed to be that escape for a few hours of whatever problems, whatever personal problems that you're dealing with. You're supposed to be able to fucking escape and enjoy life. You know, have some good food, have a couple of beers, enjoy yourself a good game. That's what it's supposed to be about. And it's sad that, you know, the next day you got ESPN, you got FS1, and, you know, you got all these other giants, and they're talking about this shit. You know? It was about to die down, and now there's just no telling what the hell is going to be coming about in the weeks to come. Seriously, man. Hey, want to give a shout out to Maria Kanellis, Mike Bennett. They are expecting their first child. I'm very, very happy. I'll tell you what, that kid's going to be real cute. You see them? That's a good-ass looking couple, man. Bobby Heenan's cause of death has been revealed. His cause of death was due to organ failure caused by throat cancer. This, according to a report in his obituary from the Tampa Bay Times. Speaking of Bobby Heenan, I thought this was kind of interesting. According to the Wrestling Observer newsletter, they had an interesting breakdown on how much Jesse Ventura, Gorilla Monsoon, Gene Okerlund, and Bobby Heenan were paid for their work as announcers back in the WWF. Check this out. I thought this was interesting. Jesse Ventura earned $133,000 plus in 1987. Then it went up to $142 in 1988. And then it went to a little bit over $181,000 plus in 1989. And then in 1990, it dropped a bit. It went down to a little bit over $128,000. And then once Ventura started working for WCW, he was getting a $300,000 a year deal. Meanwhile, Gorilla Monsoon, he earned $262,000 plus in 1987, $228,000 plus in 1988, $231,000 in 1989, and in 1990 his deal included his front office duties as well as prelim money from all house shows. Bobby Heenan, meanwhile, did $195,000 plus in 1987, $206,000 plus in 1988, $235,000 plus in 1989, and $240,000 in 1990. Now, it should be noted, his deal was for managing and announcing. He signed a contract with a $275,000 guarantee starting in 1991. Meanwhile, Gene Okerlund, ooh, man, talk about fat cat. $367,000 plus 1987, $324,000 plus 1988, $309,000 plus in 1989, and $330 plus in 1990. Okerlund's pay-per-view was higher because of the guarantee he received when he jumped to WWE with the Hulkster back in 1983. He also made more because he traveled more than the other announcers, other than Heenan, because he'd be on the road each week to go to the localized market interviews with the talent. So, really nice, interesting breakdown there of the commentators. I was looking at that, I was like, wow, that is fascinating. I like trivia stuff like that. It's just fucking cool, man. Other than that, I see Anthony Weiner. Weiner. 15 got him 20. Get it? Because he was sexting a 15-year-old, right? You get it? 15 got him 20. Or you could say 15 got him 21, right? Yeah, that creepy little bastard. He's getting 21 months in prison for that sexting case. You know, one of the texts that he had put out there, he actually had like sexted another girl and bragged his nose is so big that it hits the clit. Oh, I'm so sorry. I didn't mean to say that word. Ooh, that's... I didn't mean to say that word, because like I'm just freestyling over here, man. I'm like unscripted over here. So like, but no, like he actually said that shit. I'm like, you creepy ass fucking dude. I read earlier today while I was at work his fucking thing to the judge. Oh, the disease. I didn't know I didn't think it was a disease. I just thought that, you know, I was okay. I was doing all right. And it's like, I mean, my God, this guy had such a promising fucking career. I mean, God, Jesus fucking day, Christ of Latter-day Saints, man. You can't fucking go out there, nice good looking wife. You can't fucking say, hey, honey, you know what would be fucking hot? Is if you fucking put your hair back into some pigtails, get you a nice little schoolgirl outfit, wear some nice fucking stockings, and meet me in a hotel room. Let's do a little bit of fucking role play. You're telling me, like, you can't I mean, don't get it twisted. I understand. Well, not really, because I would never do. I proud to say I've never gone that route. I never will. But I do, to a degree, understand some men, because, like, you see these girls that are running around. I saw a girl I couldn't take my eyes off of earlier today. She was very attractive, nicely shaped, but I could tell she was young. I mean, the girl had to have been at least 15. But the way she was dressed, I mean, she was dressed like she was 1922, right? But you could tell when you were really looking at the face, no, she's at least 15. I couldn't help but, like, keep looking at her. Now, I didn't look at her like, I wanna fuck you like an animal, baby. I wanna feel you from the insides. I wanna fuck you like an animal. My whole existence is fun. You get me closer to God. I wasn't looking at her like that. I just kept looking at her like, wow. Damn, they're not building them like they used to. You used to be able to, one time or another, a long time ago, you used to be able to just, that's a kid. And now you got to do like a double take. You got to be like, are they just short and tiny? Or are they young, short and tiny? I mean, you really got to be looking hard now, man. But this guy really takes the fucking cake. I mean, he takes it to a whole new level. I mean, it's basically, heaven forbid, does he have any kids? I don't follow this guy, so I don't know anything about his personal life. So does this guy have any kids? Like, because if he does, and one of them is a girl or whatever, I pray to God that, them kids are all right. Yeah, there is a kid, because I remember something about the wife and the kid. They weren't at the hearing or some shit like that. I know the wife divorced him. I mean, who wouldn't after hearing that fucking personal shit, right? That's just creepy, though. That's a creepy. Yeah, I'm actually reading his bio right now. Alright, so he has a son. Thank the Lord there's no girl. Because I would really be feeling for that girl right now. Can you imagine if it was a girl that was born 2011, according to this, is when the girl he was dating or engaged to or whatever the fuck was going on, apparently 2011, she had gave birth to a son. Can you just imagine if it was a girl? So that would mean she'd be 6 going on 7 right about now. It's like, dude, so what? Like, hey, man, like, you got a little... I mean, it's just... My mind's just blown right now, because it's like, what do you suppose he's thinking when he sees, like, a 9-year-old girl playing hula hoop? Oh, man, I can see her SpongeBob panties. Oh, my God. That's fucking hot. Like, seriously. Oh, man, the way she's putting that noun later in her mouth. Oh, my gosh. Oh, my God. I'm in heaven. Like, seriously. I mean, I'm being funny, but it's like legitimately, like, what the fuck? So, he's trying to see if he can avoid going to a maximum security prison because it would restrict visitation with his son and other family members and all that. Nah, my nigga, that needs to be the least of your fucking concerns right now. What you need to be concerned about is motherfuckers not finding out you coming to their fucking institution and they know what you did because, ooh, my God. I tell you what, if somebody needs a bunk buddy right now, Jared from Subway, yeah, put Weiner. There you go. Put Weiner with the foot long. There you go. That's how that'll fucking work out. Other than that, what else can I get into, man? Some other stuff. Oh, hey, we got a really cool guest that's going to be dropping by the show next week, next Tuesday. I'm looking forward to it. It's my good old buddy, my old broadcasting partner, Titus Machiavelli. He's going to be dropping by. We're going to actually do a whole show together. And I got to tell you, it's going to be a very interesting show because I asked him straight up. I said, dude, have you been like getting into the wrestling? He's like, I haven't watched the WWE product in months. So I'm like, well, think about some stuff you want to get into and we'll get into it. So it's going to be I'm looking forward to it. It's going to be a very unique show. Let me tell you. We're going to be going a little bit all over the place. I know he's very passionate about a lot of topics. So honestly, I'm just going to be playing off of him. I am looking forward to it. So that's going to be a fun episode. The entire episode he's going to be on there. And again, shout out to those of you that may be interested in being a guest co-host for an entire episode. I know there was a couple of you that had reached out. Trust me, I am aware. Also, shout out to Brendan. I only skimmed it. So you gotta forgive me because like I'm really not like reading my stuff like that as far as social media goes. But shout out to Brendan because apparently he had lost his family dog recently. So shout out to him. He had shared a nice little story about how usually when he listens to the show, he's always listening with his at the time he was listening with his pet dog. And yeah, I tell you, trust me, I'm already thinking about getting another pet because my Pekingese over here, if I'm lucky, if she can stay healthy, she probably has about at least 5 more years. But I don't want it to be just boom and then she's gone. So trust me, I'm already like thinking ahead about getting another pet just to make sure that it's not as bad, right? A couple of other things I want to get into real quick before I wrap up the show, because the way it's looking right now, do I really want to get into this? Yeah, or can it wait? Actually, it can wait. No, yeah, it honestly can wait. It's nothing really significant. It can actually wait. All right. I kept my word. I said I was going to do like 90 minutes. It wasn't going to be a 2-hour show. I'm happy with an hour 47. Your next edition will be coming at you live next Tuesday. So do join me. I will have Titus Machiavelli on. For you Patreon members, again, in case you had missed it, you're just joining, I have already shipped out some of the prizes. I actually had tried to give priority to those of you that are currently Patreon members. So in the next 2 to 3 days of this week, you're going to be receiving your prize that you won from the WrestleMania contest. So do enjoy it. If anything, just let me know that you had got it. Send me a tweet or whatever. No problem. Just let me know you got it safely. And everybody else, I'm going to try to see if I can get your stuff shipped out next week. I'm trying to do it in 2 to 3 installments. But we also got an unveiling. It was recorded earlier, an unveiling video of Jim Ross's autographed Slobber Knocker book and some really cool photos. I'm going to be uploading that because the video is already done. It's on the phone. I just got to upload it, edit it, all that good stuff. So hopefully I'll be able to do that by Thursday. And we'll upload some more content on there for you guys. Check it out, man. Patreon.com/RCWR Show. Picked up a couple of Patreon members past couple of days too. Reminds me, I got to do shout outs real soon. Well, right now I can do shout outs for Kingsley. I can do a shout out for Razor. I can do a shout out for God, who's the other one? See, that's why you need to have a list. You know who you are, you Patreon members. I will definitely do the list next week. All right, I'm out of here. Those of you waiting for this one to download, give me about 10 minutes and you all will have this, yeah? Until next go round, wishing all you be safe, be kind to one another. Adios. Shout out to Matt. Shout out to Razor in the chat. Adios. Good night. Good morning.